Of all things Americans are, we are makers. With our strengths and our minds and spirit, we gather, we form, and we fashion. Makers and shapers and put-it-togetherers. We start young, finding out early in life what it's like to feel something grow and take shape beneath our hands. We start young and we stay young, modeling with careful pride the things we expect to endure for ourselves and for others. We build for use, and we build in fun, joining eyes and hands and brains into knowing teams that bring great dreams to life. We build for the day, and we build for the morrow, for our children, for their children, and for the future of America. Look to the land and look to the sea. Wherever you may look in this world, you're apt to find something that got there because some American found a good way to put it together. A longer, higher bridge across a wider span of water. A slender missile driven into space, reaching across the oceans and reaching for other worlds. As makers of today and shapers for tomorrow, we Americans seem to share an inborn understanding of how to go about making the things we want. Whether we're reaching for the moon, hobbying in the home, doing our part on a convenience to be enjoyed, or preparing a tasty tidbit, we're all of us makers. All of our different ways of making to the differing tastes of others are not all so very different after all. We make by moving materials, getting what we need in the right place to work with it. We make by removing material, getting rid of what isn't needed. We make by shaping, just so. We make by adding material to material. We make by combining. And then by applying our finishing touches. And by testing and testing again to make sure what is finished meets with our own approval and earns the customer's liking for what is done. With our craftsmanship and our conscientious control, we build for utility and for eye appeal and for satisfaction at every step of the way. That's the way we make things. Make them right and make them to the user's satisfaction. With youthful enthusiasm, we make things with pride. And into whatever we make, we try to model a satisfying usefulness and some measure of beauty. Oncoming, attractive, useful products, well made. More and more products acceptable to the more and more exacting demands of more and more Americans. All in our own personal choices of colors, models, sizes, styles, price ranges, and types. Better made, more dependable, more nearly trouble-free than products made in any such quantities anywhere else in the world. All a part of the beauty produced so bountifully for you and for me by our American makers. There was a time when many of our needs had to be imported from other countries. But now, American needs can be filled by Americans. American desires met by products American, made the American way, and by makers American. The American maker works for tomorrow as well as today, and he has a host of new products in store for us. Some of them ready for immediate viewing. Some of them are visible in the nearer distance, while others yet remain a dream of the future, but all of them on their way to us. Oncoming, attractive, useful products. Automatic highways with cars and buses that drive themselves. Compact new cars. Battery-powered transistorized TV that is really portable. Panel TV to hang on the wall like a picture. All these and more and more. We Americans have always been makers, and in the beginning, we had to be. When America was young, we learned how to make the things we needed because there was no other way to get them. We worked with our hands, and our hands served us well. At the blacksmith's forge and the potter's wheel, we learned honest craftsmanship. At the spinning wheel and the loom, we studied patience. And the greatest patience most of us learned was the patience to see to it that what we were making was good. Then, looking again to make sure what we had made would serve, and serve well. In early America, men with the skills to do the things that needed doing were few in number. Craftsmen we had, but each could make only enough for his own family and for perhaps a few of his neighbors. We had little, but we knew much of want, of shortages, of make do or do without, of even the necessities. There wasn't enough to go around. As our numbers increased and our wants multiplied, easier, quicker, better ways of doing things had to be found. Young we were, youngest in the family of nations, when a Yankee craftsman named Eli Whitney showed us how to do something about it, something that never in all the world had been done before. Already a famous man as inventor of the labor-saving cotton gin, Eli Whitney had been given a contract by Congress to produce 10,000 muskets. Now his time was almost up.
Mr. Whitney, we gave you a contract for 10,000 finished pieces. What do you mean by bringing us all these bits and parts?
Gentlemen, I am offering you something far more valuable than muskets. I am offering my country a new method of producing on a mass scale. You see, it takes years to train a workman to produce a completed article from start to finish. But it takes only a few days to train him to do a single part of the job. The solution, gentlemen, is to divide the labor. Divide and specialize. One man to make one part, one to make another. Each to do what each can do best.
Ridiculous. Impossible. Parts made by different people will never fit together.
They will, sir. They will. If each part is made exactly like every other.
these pieces are made by a separate man.
Exactly.
Eli Whitney didn't have a word for it, but we call it interchangeability. Interchangeability of parts. A Yankee craftsman had laid down the basic principle of modern mass production. Divide and specialize. One man to make one part, one to make another. Each to do what each can do best. A new method of dividing the labor to let the American maker work more quickly and efficiently, meet the ever-increasing demand for more goods, producing on a scale the world never before had known. The seed of mass production had been planted. But even so, we still had far to go before we could begin to reap the harvest. Our tools were simple, and for power we had only our own muscles, or the force of falling water, and maybe a turn from the wind. And then, the next great forward stride for the American maker came with the coming of a new source of mighty power. Unlimited new power to multiply thousands of times the productive energy of every man and create a revolution in the tools to be used. Tools to extend the power and fineness of his hands. High-speed tools to turn, to bore, to drill, to mill. Tools to plane, to shape, to slot, to grind, to forge, to form with an accuracy and a precision impossible to the finest of handcraft. Tools that hold the work you're working on. Tools that hold the tool you're working with. With all the wonderful tools that have been invented to help the American maker get more from his day's work and more for it, every bigger, better, and faster tool has given new abilities to the man who uses it, advancing from simple hand tools to great electric-driven complex machines. As more and more of us join American teams, there are more and more others of us who are investing hard-earned savings to help buy the newer and better and bigger tools we now need. To supply the conveniences for modern living, the products we create and build grow ever more complex. Today's automobile, for example, may call for as many as 14,000 parts. And each part must be as precise as thousands of pairs of hands and eyes and thousands of human brains can make it, if the final product is to be just about trouble-free. No one plant or single factory can make all the many kinds of parts. It takes thousands of separate suppliers. And in every supplier plant, each man and woman must work with a feeling of responsibility toward the eventual owner of what it is he's helping to make. On the conscientious contributions of every single one of them depend the success and reliability of what is made by others and the satisfaction of all the others who use them. The fundamental freedom of America is our freedom of choice. All of us want our choices in whatever we buy. Our personal choices of color, of model, of trim, of engine, transmission, or steering, as well as of radios, of heaters, air conditioning, accessories, and a host of other special options for convenience, safety, comfort, and appearance. On a single four-door sedan, there are 7 million possible combinations that may be asked for by any one owner. The makers could be called upon to build for years without ever turning out exactly the same car twice. The owner's choice for this chassis, among many other options, is for a red body. The first show of color is in the wheels, while the body of the right shade must be on its way already from the body plant a quarter of a mile off. All the many parts, accessories, and special equipment must meet at their rendezvous. The call is for individual choices, for custom service on a mass production basis. And the response must be a fine accomplishment of meeting individual needs and personal tastes in terms of millions of individuals. Modern assembly is timing and teamwork as well as organization. And every year, to make way for changed models, everything may have to be retimed, reteamed, and reorganized with new tools, new assembly line fixtures, and new working procedures. And just as all the parts that must fit together must be there at the right time from thousands of plants all over the country, so from all over the country and all over the world come the people who put them together for other people in thousands of different places. Giant teams of working people all fitting together. Tens of thousands of people, all different in ability, in degree of interest, in each day's varying enthusiasm for the job, differing in understanding and in their pride of workmanship, different in age, in skill, in length of experience, and in the way you feel from day to day, presenting human problems which are challenges to quality control. The best of us may occasionally make a mistake. The best of tools may call for adjustment. So in the all-American game of making things for ourselves and others, there must be catchers as well as pitchers. The inspector's job is to catch any slip and eliminate it from the finished product. The performance you get out of whatever you buy, the long time you can use and enjoy it, the pride you can take in it, depend not only on the engineers who design it and the men who make it, but also on the painstaking, conscientious vigilance of the quality control inspector who checks and double checks all along the way. So the way we Americans do it, quality in the things we buy is designed in, built in, and inspected in from start to finish. And to help them make sure quality is built in and checked in, new devices are continually being developed. This machine automatically checks dimensions to a 10,000th of an inch. A part deliberately made too small is put into the machine as a test of its efficiency. Out it goes. When products were simpler years ago, inspectors were few and far between. But in these days, with more complicated things to put together, inspectors are many, and inspectors are important. And even after a product has passed all the factory tests, it still must meet the approval of the conscientious dealer who sells it. For in his turn, the reliable dealer places his own pledge of quality on everything he sells. He knows that the user finally depends on the dealer's own fidelity. The man who sells any final product shares with its maker the credit and shares with its maker the responsibility for its performance and for the owner's satisfaction. In the quality relay, the dealer is the final qualifier. No other people anywhere have achieved more for themselves and for the rest of us than the thousands upon thousands of hard-working American men and women. The millions who pool their skills and talents to produce the things we need and want. And we who enjoy whatever they have made for us do well to be thinking of what they are giving us. Oh, yes, we know they work for their pay, for their food, and for the needs of their wives and the wants of their young ones. But also, they make for the joy of making things right, whatever the whims of our choice and the twists of our tastes. So, as we ease into our necessities, as we nestle into our comforts, as we relish our conveniences, it is well for us to remember that all these have come from the roots of the maker's mind, or the fruits of the maker's labors. That is the job that is being done for all of us by the American maker, producing by the millions, for the millions, to make life in America more enjoyable for us all. The grand job of the American maker.